If you can't handle the heat, stay out of the kitchen. So many of us are struggling with heat intolerance. If you are someone who deals with chronic symptoms like anxiety and pain and chronic fatigue and all of the things, then you're going to want to stick around because chances are you probably have an intolerance to heat and it's not why you think it is. So, if you don't already know me, I am Vanessa Azelis, your grateful guide. I have been coaching people one on one in this space, people from all over the world, healing from debilitating chronic illness, chronic survival, chronic symptoms. And today I'm going to share a little bit about how I've helped so many of my clients build the capacity for heat. Now, my story is probably a lot like yours. I spent a decade of my life struggling with chronic illness, 50 different diagnoses, close to 100 symptoms, including heat intolerance, anxiety, POTS, agoraphobia, panic disorder, depression, chronic fatigue, small fiber neuropathy, just whatever you think you have, I probably had it. And one of my biggest challenges was heat. Like I avoided heat like the plague. And I just want to show you something or share with you. I am outside right now and it is a high of, or feels like 46 degrees Celsius, which is equivalent to 113 Fahrenheit, I believe. So it is a scorcher. It is hot. And I'm currently in the shade, but I'm going to be in the sun for the rest of the day. And if I probably tried to record this in the sun, my phone would die. Now, you probably have a lot of stories, some of which might include the heat is dangerous, I can't handle it, I will get worse, my symptoms will flare, I will pass out, I will faint, I'm gonna die, right? Those are all stories I had. And so, along with those stories came the actions or inaction avoidance, which was avoid all heat, don't go outside, don't go into the sunlight. My body can't handle it, and all of you know, the things that we do to stay alive, to survive, which again, we're not judging, it's just part of the process. And I want to tell you that it is more than possible to rewire this experience, but also bring enough safety in your mind, your body, your nervous system in order for you to be able to incrementally expand your capacity for heat, for sunlight, to be outside. Wouldn't that be amazing? So, how does it start? How do we do this? Well, there's no magic formula per se, but there are a few things that I found wildly successful for myself and my clients. And part of it is really changing the story around the sun, your experience with heat itself. Now, your heat intolerance is not a real intolerance per se. What it is it's a reflection of the state that you are in. Your nervous system doesn't have the capacity at this point. You're probably in this chronic survival state. And in this moment, right now, you have less capacity for stressors. Now, heat is a stressor. Ask any healthy person, they probably don't love being out in 46 degrees Celsius or 113 degrees Fahrenheit weather. They will get tired. They need to be hydrated. They probably don't want to do any strenuous activity out in that heat. So, from a human body perspective, it's a big stressor. If you're already in chronic survival, then it's a stressor your mind body system, your nervous system probably doesn't have the capacity for yet. Now, this also becomes learned, meaning if you had an experience with the heat, especially if you were early on in your journey, then you've probably wired in a fear, a story, an association with the heat and danger. So now every time you come into contact with the sun or the heat, your alarm, your internal alarm goes on, your brain detects threat, and you have this cascade of stress chemistry, and then your symptoms flare and all of that stuff. What I'm telling you is that you can create a new relationship with heat with the sun, with any trigger. Yes, I said it, any trigger. So I'm all sticky here, so I apologize for moving around. But what I wanted to share with you are some of the things that have helped. Obviously, creating a new story. How do you do that? Well, one of my favorite ways to do that is to journal. Journal, write down all the stories that you have related to heat, the fears, the beliefs, whatever it is that you're thinking might happen or could happen or did happen. Write them down and write your emotions as well. Make a list. After you've done this and you've really just allowed without judgment, I invite you to then ask yourself, what do you want to believe instead? And get creative here. If you need to use AI for this, you could. You could ask ChatGPT to say, hey, these are my beliefs right now. Help me create a new story. And maybe this new story will be that my body has the capacity, that as I build safety, my capacity for heat expands, that the sun is healing, that I find enjoyment and pleasure and even peace as I'm in the sun, that my capacity for all things is expanding as my nervous system regulates, so that I can walk and sit in the sun and feel its healing effects. And I can feel at peace in the heat. That, I mean, there's so many stories. And I love EFT tapping. So creating a really simple tapping script where you can tap the limiting beliefs and bring in the new story was really my first step. And it's the typical step that I take with my clients as well. Now, if you don't have a tapping script to follow, you could easily just ask AI to create a tapping script for you, and it'll give you all the steps. Now, aside from the story, which is huge because the story determines the experience, we want to also start incremental exposure, incremental steps towards building safety with heat, with the sun. And this might start off really slow. It might not be going right into the sun or in the heat in the initial phase. The initial phase may look like sitting by the window while the sun is blaring and coming in, and then bringing in somatic resources to notice with curiosity how it feels for the sun to, to touch your face, your skin, your body. Here is where we build the capacity to sit with the sensations. And at first, because the story is loud, you may notice sensations. And so here's where we bring in the just the curiosity, right? The tools that we would use in something like somatic tracking. As we're sitting in this sunlight, can we notice how it feels in our body? What is the emotion? Where is the emotion? Can we allow it to be there? What is the sensation? Where is the sensation? Can we let that be there too? Can we bring in support? Anchor into safety. Perhaps you'll bring in resources of safety, such as somatic tools, some gentle havening, some gentle rocking back and forth, maybe bringing in deep inhales and longer exhales, and wiring in a safety experience. Or you may want to bring in music, right? Bring in something fun or a past memory. I used to always go back to this memory I had where I was on the beach in Mykonos, Greece with my friends, and it was blaring hot outside, and I was just dancing. And I would put on this song that always came on at the beach bar. And that was part of me wiring in this positive neurochemistry just by remembering that event and experiencing it in the present. As I moved on into real exposures, I would go outside. I would sit in my backyard, yes, in the heat. And yes, I would take tools and resources with me. So I would start by doing a really quick practice outside. That might look, to you like something somatic based. Again, just noticing how the sun feels. I'm not telling you to go 90 for nothing. Bring a hat, bring your resources and tools. At first, I brought a mini fan. I had ice water with me and an ice pack. And it started with that. And I incrementally built a new story around being outdoors. And so many of you will say, well, aren't those crutches? I see them as training wheels to help you build the capacity to be in this experience. Eventually, I didn't need them anymore. But initially, they made me feel that element of comfort and safety as I was expanding. So Don't add suffering to the suffering. Bring your tools, bring your resources with you, and let them support you initially. Over time, through repeated exposure to the sun, to the heat with these resources, I started to develop a new story, new relationship with heat and the sun. And over time, I was able to slowly let go of these resources, these tools. Now, I'm also smart. I'm going to hydrate when I'm in this type of weather because I am sweating. Many of you maybe aren't even sweating at this point because I remember for myself when I was in the depths of it and was really unwell, I did not have the ability to sweat. Now, sweating is the body's cooling mechanism, right? It's literally our internal air conditioning. And so just know as you're building safety, as your body is regulating, that capacity to sweat will come back. And it's going to feel like for me, I remember I celebrated. I remember the first time I felt sweat droplets literally dripping down my arms. I just looked at my husband and said, "I'm sweating. This is amazing." And that's because my body was coming back online, doing what it was supposed to do. So our bodies are designed and they know how to work with the heat. Obviously, we're not going to push ourselves to heat exhaustion. We're going to move incrementally. We're going to hydrate. We're going to bring our resources with us. No one should be in this weather for very long periods of time. But we also don't want to live in this life of avoidance where we can't go on that vacation, where we can't attend that event because it's outdoors. We want to live this abundant life. And by creating a new story of safety with your experience, that life is possible. So change the story, do some EFT tapping, just really invite this new story to plant a seed in you. Start incrementally training. Start in your house. Start by the window. Start by visualizing the sun on your skin. Bring in somatic tools so that you can build safety with this story, but with the sensation in the body. That's key. Then move outside and take your resources with you. So, whatever is going to make you feel comfortable, but see them as supports, not the fix, not from a place of fear. Yes, there may be some fear there, and that's okay. That's where we want to sit with that fear, notice it in our bodies. But what we're doing here is rewiring our brains. We are creating a new experience, a new story, a new association. And I am telling you, I've seen it time and time again where my clients get their full capacity to be in the heat again. It worked for me, it can work for you. Let me know in the comments if this resonated, if you have any questions at all. And if this did resonate, I think you'll love my membership haven. We are now on SKOOL. The platform is amazing and our community is so active and supportive. And this is where we get questions like this and I answer them in this community and of course in my live coaching calls. So comment below, let me know what your thoughts are, and I would love for you to like, subscribe for more content.